here's the burning question. The future of the Padres, the future of Bob Melvin, and to a degree, the future of AJ Preller. The Giants on Sunday night got permission from the Padres to interview Bob Melvin. Melvin, Bear background. Melvin, relationship with Farhan Zaidi, the Giants general manager. Melvin, not happy with what happened over the course of 2 seasons, one in the playoffs, one that was a failure, and his relationship with the general manager of the team. The Padres agreed to let Bo Mel talk to San Francisco. 2 winning seasons in San Diego, but it was 2 years fraught with problems, injuries, attitude, chemistry issues. I asked the burning question, why would you leave a $4 million a year contract and a roster that's probably going to bounce back next season and be in the postseason? Why would you leave that to go to a San Francisco team that historically has been cheap, historically doesn't pay their managers, and currently does not have an awful lot of talent on the roster? Is it because you're tired of the act? Are you leaving behind the Padres and leaving behind the failed relationship with Preller? And if he leaves, who do they promote? Who do they go outside and hire to replace Bob Melvin? Is it Mike Schilt? Is it Ryan Flaherty? My sources tell me those are the 2 candidates. Schilt, the ex-Cardinal manager, who did very well, 229 and 155 in St. Louis before he unceremoniously got dumped. Flaherty's been with the Padres 4 years in the front office, coach, administrator, wide variety of relationships. Obviously, friendship, I think, with Preller. And the burning question, do you trust Preller to make the right decision? I had a horrible thought in my mind late last night as I was putting together the format of questions for today's podcast. Mm-hmm. Don't know why this came up. Preller equals Captain Queeg. So we got an awful lot here to break apart, unpack, and discuss. Why would Melvin leave San Diego to go to a substandard situation in San Francisco?
He doesn't want the grief, man. I mean, I think Melvin's gone. I think if they've asked for permission and the Padres have offered permission, he's as good as gonzo. I mean, that's kind of what happened when he came here, when we got permission from the A's to interview him. But, he's an old timer from the Bay Area, grew up on the peninsula, played for the Giants. I see him making this move and, absolving himself of all of this controversy, all of the meddling, and he's going to go to a situation that'll probably be a little bit better for him. And you know what? You say the Giants are cheap. They have a lot of money. I'm telling you, they're going to be big players in this offseason market. Maybe Ohtani, maybe some other big names. They might have a plan in place to sell Melvin, just like the Rangers had a plan in place to sell Bochy.
Okay. Where do the Padres go? Who wants to work for that guy, the general manager? Is it in-house? Is it from the outside? And can you trust Preller to hire the right manager, considering fired Bud Black, failed with Andy Green, failed miserably with Jace Tingler, and now in a sense has failed in the relationship with Bob Melvin, and you're going to trust him to get it right the 5th time? Response?
I said originally that if Preller fired Melvin, then he would not be the GM again. But in this case, if this happens, this would be Melvin leaving the team, which might give AJ a mulligan. Maybe. But you've got Schilt, who I think a lot of Padre fans on Padre Twitter would love to have him. Flaherty is another guy, but Matt Williams too. I mean, he's been a manager in the league. So they got a lot of internal candidates. I don't think they go externally. I don't think they go and get another Jace Tingler or Andy Green or some first timer. So Schilt really sounds like the right guy at the top of the list because he did really well in St. Louis.
But he didn't do well at the end, and the inference was problems upstairs with the analytics guys in St. Louis. What do you think's going on upstairs at Petco Park? Is Schilt going to accept this methodology as to how AJ Preller wants to run the franchise?
But aren't all major league franchises run the same way? This is the same problem with Dave Roberts and the Dodgers, with the front office guys, the analytics guys, trying to tell the manager what to do and who to start and what pitching changes to make. So I think this is just pervasive throughout the league, and it's up to these old school managers to find ways to mesh with the new school.
Is AJ Preller Captain Queeg, the way he's operated and treated people?
I don't know, man. He's a tough nut to figure out sometimes because I believed in him from the beginning. I still believe in AJ Preller, but you hear all this backwash, from what's going on behind the curtain, and I start to question myself: is he the right guy? But you know what? When you have a roster that's this good, you're going to have manager candidates lining up for this job. I mean, Buck Showalter wants to manage somewhere. Maybe Buck comes to San Diego rather than going to Anaheim.
I could not get out of my mind last night as I was putting the structure together the comment made by Manny Machado. Look at the back of my baseball card. The back of the Padre baseball card has been fraught with failure.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of the 3-month window a year ago when they made the run and they bopped the Dodgers and then got killed by the Phillies, outside of that 3-month run, they've had 9 years of disappointment and failure. John, excuse me when I tell you the baseball community right now, the pulse of this community, they are pissed.
Yeah.
They are pissed at Captain Puig, at AJ, at Machado, at the whole aura of the disappointment of Padre baseball. I don't know how you patch that and how you repair that, unless you subscribe to the theory, well, that was a bad year on the back of those guys' baseball cards, and they'll bounce back next season. And the fan in left field says,
well, it was a bad year. I mean, all those guys choked early. I mean, Soto was slow as hell in the beginning. Machado was sputtering all year. Just even Tatis, he came back. He was gone for the previous year. He was not the old Tatis. So I don't know, you look at the 9 years that Preller was here, and then the first year, they went crazy and they got Matt Kemp and the Upton brothers and everything else. And
how'd that work out?
That didn't work out. But what did they have before that? They had nothing. They had nothing at all. They had Chase Headley and Hundley playing catcher, and it was just a mess. They made an effort. I kind of wonder if Mike D was behind that, bye. But then they kind of wised up and they started rebuilding that farm system. And yeah, it was 9 years of terrible track record with Preller, but 5 of those years was build. And we saw the light at the end of the tunnel. This is when we expected the window of opportunity to open. They just choked this year.
And the window could close November 1st because you got the budget constraints and you got free agency and you got Scott Boras and then you got guys coming off surgeries. Not the same team next spring in the Cactus League. Okay, hey, there are no excuses accepted. All we want from you right now is to join us on Fans Forum. Look at them filling up that list. Holy cow, it's like a red light at the intersection and people waiting to get through the lights so they can express opinions. Fans Forum, join us in the chat box. Questions, comments, Padres Melvin, Padres who, Padres GM Captain Puig. You are invited to join us. We go